Hey guys, it's Fogfanger, and today I'm just going to go through a kind of on-the-fly tutorial slash explanation about how I make my stupid teams that make only one unit super duper powerful and the rest of them are just support. So this was originally planned to be a scripted video, but I decided it would be easier just to explain it and then like have actual footage of how it works. So the first team, and the more cheaper of the two teams that I wanted to show off, is the Kaden Seth combo. So the reason that this is cheaper than the combo that I'll show after this is because on the other one, both units are 5 locked, whereas on this one you've got Kaden who is 5 locked, but Seth is available at 4 and 3 stars. So even though he's got some premium skills on him, you've got that, you know, you've still got that that easy to access unit. So it's still cheaper, but it's not like it's completely free. It's not a free strategy because you still need to get a Kaden somehow. So to start off, I'm just going to go through the skill set of these two units. Lucina and Leanne doesn't matter. Lucina's just the unit that's going to be the one that's getting all the buffs, and Leanne's just there as dance support. So to start off, we'll go with Kaden. So Kaden is very important. He's the one that's actually giving majority of the buffs. So his Kitsune Fang has the effect where it grants whatever bonus he has on his stats onto another unit. So it's kind of like having bonus doubler on him, but instead of doubling his stats, it boosts it to his allies at a drive, and this hits anyone, it doesn't matter who it is. So that's why he runs Kitsune Fang, and it's his only weapon. Then he's got Swap as his assist skill. This is mainly because of utility purposes. He can run anything. You can give him reposition and stuff like that, but Swap is the easiest because some of his later skills, you'll see why it comes into play. Now his A skill here is HP plus 5. You'd think that maybe something like Fury would be better, and in fact I'm pretty sure he has Fury or Death Blow on him or something like that. He's got Death Blow, and I also gave him Triangle of Depth and Granny Shield because he's got Chill Defense, which was from a Bullheart. So I gave him HP plus 5, and he's got a plus HP IV, which I did luck out on. It just helps him avoid panic a bit easier. Most of the time, though, he still gets panicked because if the creators of the maps put panic on a unit, they usually put it on someone with like 55 to 70 HP, depending on the mode, sometimes even higher. So he usually still gets hit by it, but it at least makes it less common, because without this and without a plus HP IV, he's at like 30 HP, not 30, like high 30s, like 38 or something like that. So it's still kind of, it just helps. Now in his B slot, I've got Chill Res. As you can see on his skill set, I've also got Chill Defense here, up here. This is just to have it so that you can swap between Chill Res or Chill Defense depending on whether or not your main unit is a special attacker or a physical attacker. So because I have Lucina on this team, he's got Chill Res. In his B slot, now this depends on what type of team you're running. If you run a team where your dancer is not acting as the main support to your main unit, so in this case Leanne and Lucina are not supporting each other, then Kaden is the best support for Lucina, and you want to give him spur skills in his in his C and S slots. I've given him Spur Defense Res 2 and Spur Attack 3. This just lets him buff up Lucina even more when they're standing right next to each other. But if Kaden is not, I'm going to say Keaton a lot. Every time I say Keaton in this video, I actually mean Kaden. That's just a forewarning. With Kaden though, if he's not the one that is ally supported with your main unit, then you just want to run skills like Drive Speed or I don't know, Goad Beasts if you're running a Beast unit, since he comes with that. Not Attack Tactic though. This just means that if he were to run drive speed in here. It combos very well with his Kitsune Fang. You can also give him any other drive, but I just gave him drive speed because it's very easy to get your hands on. Drive res is also pretty easy to get your hands on. And in his seal slot, you'd run another chill skill. So you'll see in a minute what chill skill is on my Seth. So here we would normally run chill attack seal because it's the only one that we have so far. And you only need 3 chills, remember that. Unless you're running with, I don't know, a unit that has debuffs, give more buffs on that unit, then you'd run 4 chills. But there aren't very many units that utilize that. There's stuff like if you were to run Hreed, for example, or Gunthra, where having lots of debuffs helps that unit, then you'd probably want to run 4 chills. But if you're just running a unit that you want to just buff up and have them sweep the board, then you only need 3 chills. Attack, chill speed, and then the chill of what they're attacking. So in this case, chill res. So we would have chill attack in this S slot if Kaden wasn't supporting our main unit. Now with Seth, Seth is the better of the 2 options for the buffer. You can also run Titania, but they have a bit of a different strategy with them. So the reason that I chose Seth is because his Silverbrand has Speed Tactic. And Speed Tactic is the only non-free-to-play tactic skill because you can get Attack Tactic on Legault, who's in the 4 and 3-star pool. And then you can also have Res Tactic. It's not entirely free to pay. I think it's still 5-star lock, but you can get one from Canas. And there are a few units in the pool who have it, but not unlocked at 4-star. And Defense Tactic, I'm not sure how free that is either, but it's a seal and so is Res Tactic, so they're still more free to play than, say, actually like Speed Tactic, which is absolutely not free to play at all. For his Rally skill, I've given him Rally Up Attack from an Ophelia. This just lets him basically have Attack Tactic as a rally, which means he's got a tactic for every single stat. His A skill is Fury 3. That's just there in case he needs to deal with a green unit, which is especially helpful if you're running a blue unit as your main unit, since, you know, he's red and he's got Silverbrand has got Triangle Adept in it, and then he's got Chill Speed as his B, which I already talked about. You want to run 3 chills on the team. And then, as I said before, Res and Defense Tactic. So this just lets him buff up everyone on the team to +6 attack, +6 speed, +6 defense, and +6 res, which is, you know, that's what you want to do. Now with this set, because you're running tactics on Seth, and you have Kaden giving the buffs that Kaden gets from Seth onto Lucina, you cannot have Lucina be replaced by a horse unit. That's very key for this part of the strategy. If you're running Seth and Kaden, you can't have your main unit be a horse unit. I've tried to figure out a way to overcome it, and my second team strategy, the more expensive one, actually does overcome this. But for this one, you cannot run a horse unit as your main unit. It just won't work because Seth is a horse unit, and Kaden, even though he looks infantry when he's deployed most of the time, is also a horse unit. So any other horse units will just cancel out the buffs that Seth's getting, and it's not very useful. And then on Leanne's just got Drive Speed, Wings of Mercy, very basic stuff. She's just your basic dance support. I like to use Leanne and what's his name, Rayson, because their flying utility is very good. It also makes it so that, you know, they're easier to move around on the field, and their Heron Wing has inherent healing. I also gave her the Breath of Life 2 seal, just because like all my other seals were busy. She barely gets to attack, but it's just kind of like thematic on her, I suppose. And then she's just got Drive Speed for a bit of extra support. And then on Lucina, the main unit, I've given her Blah Blade, and that's just to help her get her damage up, because her attack's kind of low. It only gets at 45, but you know, after Blah Blade, if she's getting +6 to all of her stats, her attack goes up like super duper high. Then she's got Ether, because even though she's running a Blah Blade, Ether is just like a really good special on her. It just helps her heal. Her damage output's still pretty good, but sometimes there are just some units like really well built Helbindi, no, sorry, not Helbindi, Serta, and other green tanks that she just can't take care of. So Aoife is her best special, but you can just put whatever special on whatever unit you have normally. I've also given her close counter because I like to give close and distant counters to my main unit that I use on a buff team like this, just so that you can put them up the front and they can take care of anything that comes towards them. I've given her attack smoke so that it can help with her kind of low bulk. She's got 28 and 28 in both stats, but it's still kind of low. And then I've given her Special Spiral, which just helps with Bloodblade's extra cooldown. And I've also given her Attack Speed Bond since she's going to be next to Kaden a lot. And Kaden is going to be buffing her, and then she's also going to get buffs from Attack Speed Bond, which is going to help her attack a lot because it's actually kind of low. But her speed's already pretty high, which is why I don't run Spur Attack Speed on Kaden, because she really doesn't need it. She gets, what? She's got 39 speed, plus 5 from here is like 44, and then with all the buffs that she gets, it goes like above 60 at least. So we're just going to go into TT, and we're just going to go through the 7 maps, and I'll show you the type of setup. So the first thing you want to do is look at, like, you know, where each unit is and what's going to hit you the hardest. So in this case, I don't want to be in the range of this Maribel, because this Maribel, even though she's not running Trilemma at this stage, she does have Dazzling stuff, and that's just kind of annoying. If I put Lucina here, she can take care of Ira, but I'm going to let her take on Lewin and Selkie, just because, you know, there's 2 units I can kill there instead of 1. So I'm going to start by putting Lucina here, and this is going to put her in the range of Lewin and Selkie. Caden's going to stay right here and give his spur buffs while also activating Lucina's bond. Seth's going to go over here. This is so that he can apply his tactic buffs on the next turn to both Lucina and Caden. And then Leanne's just going to chill at the back here. At this range, she can use Heron Wing to heal everyone, and she can also apply drive speed to Lucina. You can run any drive on your Dancer, whichever one suits you the best. Same as if you were running Caden as your secondary support, not your main support. I'll show you what secondary support and main support means for Dancers on the next team. But right now we're just going to take on the 2 units. So as you can see, Lewin still does like a lot of damage. Lucina's not that strong. When I was running her as my main unit, she did have like summoner support and stuff. But see here, Selkie does 0 damage to her. And she retaliates back with a 59 damage Bloodblade. So now I'm just going to rally up again, and then we're going to take care of Ira. Ooh, look at that big 91 hit. Now I'm just going to dance on Lucina, and then I'm going to swap Lucina like this so that she's in range for Maribel, but also still getting Caden's buffs and her ally buffs. I mean her bond buffs, sorry, but also her ally buffs. And that's the end of the first map. So we basically just rinse and repeat this for the whole thing. The T pose and the square pose are very good, but you always want to make sure that Seth is always buffing up at least Caden and Lucina. It doesn't matter if he's buffing up Leanne or not, because she barely ever goes into combat. She's just there for dance support. So right now we're going to stick Lucina here, and she's going to go into combat against Florina and Shanna.
Sure thing.
Then we'll put Caden like this, Seth like this, and Leanne like this. The good thing about this type of support is that you got 2 horses, and they just like go really far. So it's really easy to make sure that you're always setting up the buffs. But yeah, as you'll see, Lucina has like barely any trouble with any of these units. She's just blasting them all. And the other good thing about this like T-pose formation is that when you're in the T-pose formation, Leanne often gets to transform into her beast form, since she's often by herself next to Caden.
How pleasant.
So if you've got a situation like this where you've just got like a bunch of units coming at random angles, then you can just take them out.
Oh, spring.
Of course, this only applies if you're running a ranged unit. If you're running a melee unit, it's a bit harder. But yeah, Lucina's probably my favorite unit to do this with. She gets very good bulk, surprisingly, but she's still like a Gen 1 mage, so she's still kind of outclassed. Yes,
Okay.
now I'm going to show off
Lovely.
this kind of zigzag lightning bolt formation. It just keeps
Okay.
Leanne down here instead of putting her up there, just in case I need Leanne to dance a bit further than she can reach. But yeah. As you can see, she still takes damage. It's not entirely foolproof, but like 8 damage is not that much. She's taken 28 damage in this entire like selection of maps so far. And she's had to deal with almost 12 units. 28 damage isn't much. Even if she didn't have a healing skill, she wouldn't even be dead yet. So now I've got a bit of an issue here, apparently.
How pleasant.
Lucina's movement is a bit dumbed down. But luckily Athena can't actually reach us if we go kind of down
Okay.
here. So I'm going to put her here,
Yes?
and then Leanne here,
Sure thing.
Caden here, and then just put... Oh, Seth can't go down that far. I'm going to put Seth here. I'm pretty sure that Frederick is going to go after Lucina since she is not running a Triangle Adept red weapon. Yep, there he goes. But even if he went after Seth, it wasn't going to mean much. Seth would just tank the hit. But now here we're
I can
gonna
help.
swap,
Understood.
buff,
Oh, spring.
and annihilate. Hit with that nice
Will
97
not stop my festivity.
after Ether is 104. If you don't want to run a dancer, which is highly recommended by the way, because sometimes you just need to get the units into specific spots. But if you don't want to run a dancer, I do highly recommend a flying healer. And if you do run a flying healer, then you can swap your main unit's
Okay.
special to be basically anything else.
Do what?
And we didn't buff up on that turn because we weren't facing any enemies. And now this time we will...
Okay. How pleasant.
this.
Lovely.
But yeah,
Understood.
if you're running a flying healer instead of a dancer in that 4th slot, or any healer basically, but flying ones are like the best because mobility again. Then you can swap the main unit special to not Ether. Ether is highly recommended for these type of bulk everything sets because, you know, you just like get that healing from Ether as well as the boosted damage. But you can run Luna, Astra, Ignis, Bonfire, Glacies, whatever you want to run. Probably not something like
I can help.
Your orders.
Vengeance, since you rarely take damage, and if you're running a healer, then you don't need to heal the damage either. But yeah, before this, I was running a bit of a different +6 buff set with this Lucina, and she had a Halloween Mia as her support.
Okay.
So she had that flying healing. So I swapped out her Ether for Astra and it worked wonders because she was just like popping off that Astra in every combat after she got, what's it called, to proc. Well, not every combat because she actually killed a lot of units, but in a lot of combats she would proc Astra thanks to, what's the skill?
Okay.
Special Spiral, Special Spiral. Special Spiral is very good on her. Especially, it's just very good on
What?
Bloodblade units as a whole because, you know, they don't really need to have Desperation on a Bloodblade unit because they're just nuking. They don't really need to double unless their attack stat is really, really low. So that's why I run Special Spiral on her. A lot of this is just kind of rinse and repeat, but there are a lot of like just little, you know, helpful tidbits you can run. She actually did damage, that's surprising. I don't know what Samia's attack stat is. Right now we're just
I
gonna
can help.
put Caden,
Yes?
we're gonna put Lucina up in this square, just so that both Jagen and Dream, Corrin will come. They both won't attack her. Yeah, see, one of them's going to rally because I noticed that they both had rallies. But it just, you know, helps. This Corrin's a bit beefy. But I guess that's what you get when you're a trainee level dragon with Gen 2, like end game Gen 2 infantry for some reason. And you'll see that the Heron Wing passive healing really comes into play here. Jagen doesn't stand a chance. The best user for this strategy is probably units with blade tomes that have their cooldown taken off. So stuff like Nino and Thaya with their upgraded stuff. Also, you could run this with Odin very successfully. He the movement on this is kind of wonky. Let me just... I'll just kind of stick everyone in a square for now. Odin benefits from this set very well, and you don't even have to run Seth. If you just run Odin with defense res link and then have Kaden have swap, then Kaden and Odin give each other the +6 and then extra +6. So right now, as you see, Lucina's running +6 in all stats from Seth. And Kaden's also running +6, which is being driven onto Lucina, so technically she has +12 in all stats. She also gets +5 in attack and speed, and then she gets a further +3 in defense and res, +4 in attack, and then... Oh, I don't want to swap. And then she also gets drive speed +3. So she's got really high stats. That's basically the whole point of this set. It's to just pick one unit that you really like and just buff them up to the maximum so you can just destroy everything in the game. But yeah, Blade Tome units definitely appreciate this type of team building, and especially the ones that don't have extra cooldown. And like I said, if you run this with Odin, you can actually mitigate the need to have a Seth. You only need a Kaden, but you still need to have defense res link from either Summer Legion or Bridal Sanaki, and that can be on either Kaden or Odin. So you could actually run like, I don't know, you could run Special Spiral on Odin if you wanted to. Oh, this one never did a big hit. I suppose we still have like color to deal with, but you know.
Okay.
Lovely. Understood.
Yes?
There we go. And that's me got to hit him too. Cool. Yeah. Alright, now we're on the last stage. So normally what you'd want to do is do something like this and then put Lucina here. But unfortunately this Helbindi comes with Panic Ploy and that just messes up our whole strategy. He's also got this, so he's got like 70 HP and then +5. That's just too much to deal with. So what I do instead is... I put her on this side.
Your orders.
And more often than not, Helbindi is too stupid to find a way to effectively get into panic range of Lucina and Kaden without
I say when winter's over.
and also be able to attack. It's usually one or the other. So right now you'll see that he's like in that, and on the next turn I'm just gonna oh no.
Have you come to die?
Oh dear. She's taking quite a bit of damage. But I don't think Virian's going to touch her. Yeah, see, there's not really much to worry about. Very rarely does the unit actually get this low. And now she's all healed up. So as you can see, we're not in anyone's range right now. So I'm just going to swap into there. I'm gonna buff Seth up here so that Leanne can come down here. She could just stay here because she still gets the drive buff, but I just like them being in like the T pose. And now I should... Okay, he's gonna rally. Boom. And now we'll just wait for Helbindi to move. If he moves down, then we'll have to change our strategy. Nope, we're fine here. He's just gonna come through. And as you can see, he's got minus 15 speed and minus 35, minus 7 speed and minus 7 res. If we had chill attack, he'd also have minus 7 attack. And that would probably help with a few of the other matchups on this map too. But look, even though he's got 75 HP, one shot. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. So that's the first strategy, and it's the cheaper of the strategy. You can also run this exact same strategy with Titania replacing Seth. If your main unit is very slow and you run Quick Riposte on them, or they're a slow armor unit and you run like Vengeful Fighter and stuff, or they have like Quick Riposte in their weapon, something like Binding Blade and Moltet, I think, both have like a better Quick Riposte in their weapons. Or basically anything that automatically doubles. You can run Titania instead of Seth. Titania doesn't have access to Speed Tactic. Her weapon has Res Tactic. But if you run Defense Tactic Seal and an Attack Tactic C slot, then it's basically the exact same set, but you're not giving +6 to every stat, so you probably don't want to use it on a Blade Tome unit. But if you're using it to buff up a favorite unit of yours that's slow, but you have automatic doubles for, then you can just mitigate the need to run Seth and run Titania instead. Titania also doesn't need to run a rally at that point, since rally up speed doesn't exist, I believe. If it does, forgive me. But yeah, Titania is like a second version. You still need Caden because he still grants the buffs. But it's just if you're running a slow unit that you don't want to buff speed to. But since we're running a Blade Tome unit and I was running this set with Alphonse before, and I did want him to be fast because of the set that he runs, I wanted to make sure that I was buffing speed as well. Speaking of Alphonse, this is the new team. It's only been featured in one video, but now I'm going to go through it completely. So we'll just start with Alphonse, just a quick explanation of it. Alphonse, he's actually got speed respawn, but that's not correct. I think I have to change the skill set, because I made skill sets just for Alphonse, and that has the wrong Sacred Seal. He needs the attack respawn seal. There we go. And let me just quickly change the seal on. Here we go. That was this Alphonse's seal. Not story maps. Oh. I'll just quickly check this. Okay, I won. I was on Team Nia, by the way. Alright, so we'll go through this again. So here's Alphonse. He's just the main unit. I've beefed him up with a lot of good skills. He also just has a lot of skills. He has a lot of skills. But his weapon is Heart's Blade, which just gives him attack speed, defense res +3 when he has a bond effect, which I've also stacked with attack res bond. He used to run speed res bond, but then I realized that he doesn't really need that. He gets quite a lot of speed as is, and he usually doubles, or at least avoids being doubled by some of the very fast units. But his speed's still hitting like 56, which is pretty high. That's why I gave him null follow-up, because it makes it so that he can't get hit by stuff like Quick Riposte, Bold Fighter, Vengeful Fighter. It also breaks through Wary Fighter, which is extremely useful. Basically anything that's just like preventing him from doubling, and it also just makes so that the opponent can't double when they attack, if they're not faster than him, which is very rare. He runs Swap, if he was the one I was using on the Seth Caden team, I would give him reposition instead of swap. It's just a bit easier to have one of them with reposition and one of them with swap. And then he's got Ether just for the, like, you know, extra heal, even though he rarely takes damage. Disencounter, very self-explanatory. And Pulse Smoke is a very recent addition to his set. Normally I was running Speed Smoke or even Panic Ploy because his HP is pretty high. But I found that Pulse Smoke is extremely effective on him. It just makes everything he faces have -1 cooldown. So I don't ever, but I very rarely have Alphonse attack on player phase. I just let the enemies come to him on enemy phase, and then he just smokes them all when they're all near him, and then he never gets hit by specials, which is extremely useful. Now his S support, apart from me, is Olivia, and she's an infantry dancer, and the only reason that I'm running her is just because I need to have an infantry unit running infantry breath. As you can see here, armored allies, horse allies, and flying allies cannot use it. And infantry breath is like the crux of this strategy. It just lets Alphonse run special cooldown charge, like acceleration, without needing to remove any of his skills. It was the one problem I was having with him, just that his ether was not proccing as much as I wanted it to, but with this skill it definitely does that now. She also runs Fury 3 in this slot. I was thinking of giving her bonus doubler when she was on the other team with Seth and Caden, because it would let her attack and do a lot of damage because she was getting bonus doubler, and also when she was near Caden, so she was getting like ×3, she was getting +18 to all her stats, so her attack was getting like a bajillion. Dance and Moonbow, very basic. Spur attack and speed 2 to grant attack and speed +3, because she's the one that's always next to Alphonse, so she gives that extra attack and speed while also activating his bond skills. And then just Wings of Mercy. Now here we've got the replacement for Seth and the replacement for Caden in one unit. Blazing Knight Eliwood. Excuse me. He's extremely good. I made him pair up with Ninian, but you rarely ever see it. He doesn't need to swap. It's just kind of there for thematic purposes. If I ever did like a story chapter and he had to attack and you saw it in the recording, then Ninian would be there to be like, yay, I'm helping! And it would like be cute and stuff. Ardent Durandal is what replaces what replaces Caden entirely, because it grants bonus doubler to the highest attack ally on the team, which is Alphonse, because he has 53 base attack. Obviously, Eliwood beats this out at 55, but it doesn't beat out Ranel's 47, and it doesn't beat out, even with a plus attack nature and plus attack refine and fury, Olivia's 48, which is obvious because she's a ranged dancer. And then Moonbow and Deathblow 4 are just there because I didn't really change them from... I mean, I gave him that special, but this is just on his base kit. He has Rally, Speed, Res Plus, and Vision of Arcadia, which stack together to make sure that he's the one that's giving +6 to all stats on Alphonse. And then with this, it gives +12 with the bonus doubler that is granted onto him. So this one unit replaces the need to run Seth and Caden entirely, and because he's one unit, and because he's not running a tactic skill, you can run this buff set with any unit. You'd have to change your dancer. Infantry Breath on Olivia isn't going to do anything if the foe isn't an infantry unit, but basically any dancer can fit in that role. You can even run like the same beast dancing flyers. Rayson specifically is very good because Rayson allows Eliwood to activate Vision of Arcadia, and that's why I've got Ranulf on the team, and he's just there. Ranulf's basically just there to activate Vision of Arcadia, but if I was not running Alphonse and Olivia as the main duo, I would replace Olivia with Rayson and then not need to run Ranulf at all. And that would just let you run, like, I don't know, you can run a healer in that 4th slot basically, and then you don't have to run Ether on your main unit. And then he's got Chill Defense 3 and Chill Attack 3, which just gives more buffs. Obviously, you'd want to replace Chill Defense with Chill Res if you're running a special base unit, but because we're running Alphonse, he's got Chill Defense. I know he comes with Chill Attack, but Chill Attack is just the only seal that we have right now, so that's why he's got it in his seal slot instead of his B slot. But if we had a different Chill seal, then I would probably keep Chill Attack as his B slot. And then we have Ranulf. Ranulf is basically just here to activate Vision of Arcadia, but because his Covert Cat Fang grants attack defense +3 to allies within 2 spaces during combat, it's basically drive, attack, defense in 1 skill. So I've given him drive res and drive speed, so he's just giving +3 to all stats. It's just a bit of an extra buff. He's the best beast unit to run with this specific team because like, we don't need Caden anymore. Caden's not doing anything for us on this team, but Ranulf is, you know, he's the best one because all the other beasts are very not support focused. Keaton and Valoria, and I mean, you could also run Valoria as well. Now that I think about it, Valoria would be good for this set too. I can't remember what she does specifically, but she's got like -1 cooldown, which isn't exactly that important on Alphonse since he's already got cooldown acceleration with Olivia. That's why I just picked Ranulf. Ranulf's the best. He just gives +3 to extra in each stat. And then he's also got Chill Speed. He comes with Chill Attack too, but I gave him Chill Speed from one of my spare Nagas since I pulled quite a few. And yeah, so we're just going to go through
Let's go then.
and show Alphonse's super duper buff set. And he's got his arena stats, which are very high. So for this, the movement is a lot simpler because we don't need Eliwood to be in any range of Alphonse to grant the buff from Ardent Durandal and Vision of Arcadia. We can just rally Alphonse whenever he's need to be rallied. And now Alphonse has got +12 in all stats. And then we just stick Olivia here. And we've got Ranulf here. I gave Ranulf reposition on this team. He does also come with swap, so I just swap it out whenever I need to either have him swapping or repositioning. But now Alphonse is just going to deal with all the units. So like I said, this is basically the same strategy as the team I just showed earlier, but it's a lot more of an expensive set because you're running 2 premium units, but it's also a lot easier to
Let's go then, shall we? What's your plan?
it's a lot easier to run with any unit because you're not relying on tactic skills, you're just relying on the natural buffs that
Above all, the mission.
are applied from Eliwood. So you can run this with a horse unit, you can run this with an armored unit, you can run with this with a flyer. Any unit that your heart decides, you can run this set. And the only thing that you really need to make sure of is that your main unit has the highest attack outside of Eliwood. Eliwood can still have higher attack. That doesn't matter because it won't buff on Eliwood. But yeah, so as long as your main unit has higher attack, you can, you know, pretty easily get this off.
My turn?
If you're finding that your unit has, like your main unit has pretty low attack, and you want to have them have higher attack, you can always run Fortress Defense on your other 2 units. I gave it to Ranulf, actually. He's not running it right now. I gave him Fury, because his attack's actually kind of low. But Fortress Defense from 4-star Seth makes it so that the unit has -3 attack, which just helps kind of a bit if you're just kind of struggling. And you can also run like attack +3 on your main unit, or if you're going after a unit that's like +10, make sure they have a plus attack nature and give them Dragon Flowers as well. And if you're giving them S support, they should probably have the highest attack on the team anyway, because support units don't usually have very high attack. But there are like quite a few ways that you can just get around not having the highest attack on the team. Luckily, Alphonse's base attack is actually kind of high, so he doesn't really need to worry about stuff like that. Now here we've got a bit of an issue. Reinhardt is going to come after Alphonse, but luckily we can
Let's
just
see now.
rally up Eliwood from here,
Shall we?
and then stick Alphonse here. And Eliwood is still going to apply the buff from all the way over there, not the rally. He needs to actually do that physically, obviously. But he's still going to apply his Vision of Arcadia and Ardent Durandal buffs. So that's +6 attack, +6 defense, and bonus doubler. Even from like all the way across the map, basically, he still gives that buff. So it's extremely easy to pull off this kind of buff set. It's a lot less movement reliant than the other set is. And it's definitely my favorite kind of
My turn?
strategy that I've done so far.
As you will.
Time to shine.
So we saw a similar setup to this before with Lewin in that top slot. So Alphonse is going to kind of take care of all of these units. I don't think he's taken any damage so far, so that tells you how much I actually really care about Alphonse and wanting to make him very, very powerful. Of course, you can use this set on any unit. I've run this set with Alphonse, I've run it with Spring Lucina, regular Lucina, Adrift Corin.
Shall we?
It just kind of depends on like who's your favorite and how much you want to make them super duper powerful. That's basically the whole point of this set.
I'll open the way.
But yeah, I really like Alphonse, so that's why I put a lot of time and effort into thinking of these super duper buff sets. See, we can just rally Eliwood. We can rally on Eliwood onto Alphonse like from all the way over here.
Next step?
Here we go.
And then we can just like have Eliwood chilling in the back while Alphonse still gets the buffs on the next turn. It's extremely easy. It's basically the baby mode of the strategy that I worked so hard to
Let's
perfect
see now.
with Seth and Caden. There's also a third version of this strategy that involves defense res link with
Let me through.
male Corrin, the regular one, the one that comes with the sword. It's basically the alpha version of this type of strategy. I won't show it off in this video, but yeah. So we're just gonna kind of
What's your plan?
Time to shine.
have everyone go this way so that Alphonse can take care of Ethan. Now, I know that she gets negative status, but she doesn't actually have. She just has
As
debuffs.
you will. Let's go then. My turn?
But yeah, she still has quite a lot of defense. But we still take her out. Actually, does she have... oh, that's actually perfect damage. Nice. I didn't realize that 2 times 27 was whatever her max HP was. Ooh, a lot of blue units. Luckily, they're not really a problem.
Yes?
Next step?
Let's see now. Here we go.
So we can just kind of
What's
do
your plan?
this.
Shall we? Back at it.
With these kind of skinny maps, it's kind of hard to get Eliwood around though. So sometimes you just have to hope that not having the speed and defense, sorry,
Let's see.
speed and res buff isn't gonna hurt that much. So luckily in this case, all the units we're fighting are physical, so I don't really need to worry about speed and res. So I'm just gonna kind of
turn?
stick Eliwood here out of danger. Alphonse can take care of all these units.
I'll open the way.
And that's, you'll see there that he got the smoke.
Yes?
It's very useful, the attacks. Pulse smoke. The pulse smoke, sorry. It's very, very good. It's probably the most useful addition I've put onto him. He didn't double against Tanner here, but that doesn't matter because he procced Ether. So she's going to be able to move down here. I think I'm just gonna let him take care of her. Yeah, he doubles. He's fine. So sometimes you don't even need to do all the buffs. If I was running a Blade Tome unit, then I would probably want to make it easier to get all the buffs. So I would probably run, like, I don't know, I'd run a tactic on Olivia, and I'd run a tactic on Eliwood, which means you would have to not run a horse unit with this. But it's fine.
Let's see now.
Get the rally.
As you will.
Time to shine.
Go.
Giraffe neck isn't going to stop me today.
My apologies.
Boom. Yeah. So now I'm just going to kind of
Shall we?
bait the other
Let's go
units
then.
to come
What's your
here.
plan?
I don't need to worry about my res and speed anymore. I should be fine. But luckily, Hinoka is a flyer,
Back at it.
so
Next step?
Yes. Let's see now.
I can move like that and still get the speed buff. But no matter how fast she is, she isn't going to get any more damage if she's just doing 0. And now I'm pretty sure... Let's just see where Oboro goes. Okay, she's going to go down. So we can do this. We can put Olivia here and then swap with Alphonse. But she's got really high defense, but luckily we've got -7 defense on her, which is basically +7 attack on Alphonse. So it's not very much trouble for him. And now she's gone. How many more maps of this do we have? Oh, last one. Awesome. So again, we definitely don't want to go up here because Alphonse does not have enough HP.
Let's see
So
now.
we'll rally from here, and then we'll just kind of
Shall we?
stick Alphonse up here.
Here we go.
Ranulph can reach from here,
Time
and
to
then Olivia can
shine.
reach from here. So Crumb's gonna come over, and probably also Draug, and then that. What's his name? His name is Zero in Japanese. What's his name in English? Niles. Niles is gonna probably come too. From behind. Come from behind. He's gonna come around. Yep, like that. Perfect. Lewin's gonna come like this. And as you can see, these units both have rallies. But I'm gonna stick Olivia here so that I can get Eliwood to sneak into here, just in case Lou wants to come. It just helps us survive Lou a bit easier. Even though he's green, he probably wouldn't be doing too much to us anyway. And now
I'll open the way.
we do what Surtur couldn't and kill Helbindi. Which, by the way, isn't confirmed whether he dies or not. I know in his level 40 combo he says something like, actually I can check because I have his level 40 combo, but that's for a different video. Basically it's just like, he says, Surtur could have killed me, but I'm more scared of what you would do to me. He says that to you, the player. And most people have taken that as, oh, Helbindi did not get killed by Surtur, but you have to remember that we're summoning Surtur, so this Surtur that we have, like this one right here that I have, for example, is not the same Surtur, this Helbindi is not the same Helbindi that we have in the story. So the one that we have in the story very easily could have been killed by Surtur, and we even have confirmation from Helbindi himself that Helbindi is not strong enough to win against Surtur. He says Surtur could have killed me, and most people would take that as like Surtur could have killed me but he didn't. But I'm thinking the way he says it is Surtur could have killed me, as in Surtur is strong enough to where I came from, he did not. So wherever this Helbindi comes from, the parallel world where we summon him from, he does not betray, well I guess when he leaves he betrays, but he does not betray Surtur in front of his eyes. But anyway, that's for another video another day. But this was just a showcase of the two super buff teams that I've made using various units. Both of them run 2 horses, one sword horse and one green beast horse, ironically. But you can always switch it up to suit you the most. I'll just quickly show off the alpha set basically. So here we have Dream Prince Corrin. He's got 2 bonds, he's got his lightning breath, basic stuff that I always give him. And then we've got regular Corrin. He's got swap and defense res link, so you just kind of want to swap this Corrin with this Corrin. You want to swap your main unit is what I'll say from now on. With Corrin to get the +6, and then he's also got infantry rush and spur speed, so he's giving more buffs on top of Corrin's attack bond and stuff like that. And then here I've got Azura as flying support, flying dance support with speed tactic, and Mia as flying healing support with attack tactic. They also both have skills that have drive defense res +2, or in this case +3. So you know, Corrin gets kind of beefy, and he doesn't need to run an ether special, or any healing special. So I've given him Dragon Fang. I guess we can quickly show this off actually. I'll turn off animations though, just so it goes by a bit faster.
That candy's mine.
So this is just kind of like the alpha version of this set. It's a lot harder to pull off. In this case, I probably want to do this actually.
Can't sleep.
So I'm going to reposition so that Corrin has +6 in all
Best
stats.
wishes.
And then just kind of do this. Oh, excuse me.
Of course.
Morning. I was dreaming.
What about?
All right. Morning.
Who should I prank?
Okay.
Alrighty then.
Can't sleep.
So the movement for this set is a lot harder, and it's also probably a lot less free-to-play friendly since we don't have any free-flying dancers and we don't have any... Actually, we do have Raisin. Forget what I said. But we don't have free-flying healings. Do we? No, we don't.
Of course.
Best wishes. Who should I prank?
Morning.
And it also relies on tactics as well.
I was dreaming.
I think we can... No. As you can see, the movement for
Can't
this is a
sleep.
lot harder. It takes a lot more thinking, I suppose. Especially with a ranged horse unit like this. I think I'm just gonna kind of...
Morning. All right.
Of course.
Alright, I'm just gonna do this. That's what I thought.
Let's
All right.
go. Can't sleep.
Who should I prank? Best wishes.
I was dreaming.
There we go. So Mia did take some damage there, but as long as she survives, it should be okay. Yay, support.
All right.
Ooh. Oh well.
Of course. Alright.
So Corrin's not going to get
Can't
the
sleep.
attack buff next turn, but that shouldn't really matter. I'll
Morning.
just
Of course.
make sure he gets it now. Plus he's already getting +10 attack from his bonds.
All right. Can't sleep.
Best wishes.
I was dreaming.
So I can
Nice.
soften him up
Morning.
with sugar and then boom. But yeah, this is a lot more movement dependent, stuff like that. But it's basically the
Can't
alpha.
sleep. Let's go.
Who should I prank?
I know I've said that like
Of
100
course.
times, but yeah. painful. My phone's lagging out
I
now.
was dreaming.
I
All
can
right.
see it. It's painful to look at.
Alrighty then.
I'm just gonna move everyone into this corner.
Of course.
Best wishes. Alrighty then. Of course.
Let's go.
I really like the T-pose. It lets me assert dominance onto my foes, even though they're CPU. But, you know, I love asserting my dominance. But actually, in this case, I'm going to just... I don't think Hinoki's going to do much, actually.
All right.
Who should I prank, huh?
Oh, yeah, that's probably why my
Best
phone's
wishes.
lagging, because my batteries are
Can't
running
sleep.
low.
Let's go.
Nice.
I didn't even notice. I've been recording for quite a while. We're going to
I was dreaming.
do this, and then we're
Of
going to do
course.
this, and then we're going to do
Alrighty then.
this,
Of course.
this,
Can't sleep.
this.
All right.
Who should I prank?
My phone's just chugging along. Yep, some more support, yay. The reason that Mia and Azura got support first is because they were paired up before this. Before I decided to put Corrin as the lead on this team, I had Lucina here before, so Lucina and this Corrin were paired up, but these two have been paired up for a while longer.
Can't sleep. Let's go.
Best wishes. Nice.
I was dreaming. Of course.
Of course. Alrighty then.
Morning.
Who should I prank?
All right.
Bada bing, bada boom. And then we can kind of just do the same thing that we've been doing here.
Let's go. Can't sleep.
Best wishes. Nice.
Although it is a lot less effective. Also, I didn't realize that this Zelgius had this. I didn't not realize that this Zelgius. I didn't realize that this Zelgius had panic.
I was
So we're
dreaming.
not
Of
actually
course.
going to
Alrighty then.
swap on this turn. Hopefully we don't die. Oop. Okay, this is a bad run.
Who should I prank?
All
We're just gonna
right.
cut that.
Of course.
We're just gonna let Alphonse and the team take care of this. See, they were still in this formation.
My turn? Yes.
Next step?
Let's go then. Let's see now. As you will. What's your plan? Yes.
That sucked. But he's still getting panic.
Time to shine.
Aha, I know what to do.
Shall we? Let's see now. Back at it.
There we go. Boom. So yeah, that was just a quick peek at the alpha of this kind of set. It very heavily relies on the fact that Corrin's Yado also gives buffs. And then he gives like spur speed, defense, wrestling, ally support, what have you. So yeah. So that's going to be it for this video. Thanks for watching. To all the people that ask me in the future, how do you get your Alphonse to be so buff? This is how I get my Alphonse to be so buff. I spend a lot of time doing math and seeing how high I can buff up one unit and stuff like that. But that's going to be it for this video. And I'll see you guys in the next video. It should be up tomorrow. It should be Fire Emblem Blazing Sword Part 3. Blazing Blade Part 3. Episode 3, not Part 3. Which should be Chapter 4. And I think I'm only going to do one chapter from now on. In yesterday's episode I did 2 chapters. But anyway, that's going to be it from me. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.
Reach for my hand.